morning, and welcome to the first episode of the Saturday Six. Pretty excited to be here and do this. This is a new thing we're going to be doing in Sharp College Football. I'm going to be getting up early in the morning on Saturdays. We're going to talk some college football. We're going to talk some advanced stats. We're going to preview 6 games. Today there are only this week there are only 2 remaining FBS versus FBS games. So we're only going to be doing 2. But next week we're going to try to knock out 6. We'll do 5 games, that you should definitely know that are really important for college football. And then 5 games that if you're, and then 1 game additional if you're a big fan of college football in the group of 5 that you should keep an eye on. So we'll try to knock those out. We'll try to keep it to 3 minutes per game preview. We'll see how well we're able to stick to that. But I also am going to have a timer that I will start to throw up on screen next week. So the format may change a little as we work out some kinks, but really excited to knock this out and start for week 1. Week 1 of college football is here. So more than anything, I think grateful and excited to get the opportunity to continue to run Beta Rank, share it with the world, talk to you guys, watch some college football, guys and gals. As Maui would say, not a guy-girl thing. You can tell I have a toddler. Anyway, so let's start by getting into some of these games. I mean, we've seen at this point it's really a handful of football games, 3 so far. The level of play hasn't always been great, reflecting the time of preparation that these teams have had. I clearly have not had enough coffee yet this morning, but you feel like teams are going to be working out a lot of the kinks. It will be interesting, I think, in particular, and we talked about a little bit in a podcast previewing this that we did for 12 Pack Radio, that teams that are more pass heavy might struggle a little more. The timing hasn't been quite there for a lot of teams throwing the football, and it'll be interesting to see. I think in particular as we come into this week, and we've got SMU on the slate, a team that even with, and I admire some of the hires Sonny Dykes has made, still is going to throw the ball around. So it'll be interesting to see how they are set up there. So let's go ahead and let's jump in. I think that there's some fun games out there today. So first up is SMU at Texas State. You can see here there's a pretty large disparity between these teams where we have them projected. We actually project Texas State to even get a little worse from where they were last season, projecting them actually just right ahead of UMass, right there. UMass being at 130, Texas State at 129. SMU we have projected at 68. I think that's a little low on the Mustangs, so keep that in mind. Both these teams definitely have. I mean, if you're Texas State and you're projected at 129, you certainly have just your distribution, when you look at it, is mostly upside, right? Like there is some small downside risk for this team, but most of what can happen for them is good. The Ponies, they come in, after a very good season last year. The 68 projection, like I said, is a little on the low side, I think, reflecting that Sonny Dykes hasn't been coached very long. And that their coaching and development numbers are not quite there yet, but I do expect them to continue to improve. I really like what Dykes has been able to do there. Beta Rank has this at SMU at a 23-point favorite, 97% win probability for them in this game. The offense for SMU, they finished last year at 33. They project at 33 this season as well. They've got a new AOC coming in, and Garrett Riley. He was the running backs coach at Appalachian State, and was likely going to be getting the job of OC at Appalachian State had he not taken this job at SMU. You might recognize the last name. Garrett Riley is the younger brother of Lincoln Riley. What I like about this hire for SMU is, Dykes has an air raid background. He's brought in, his past OC, Lashley, is now off to be the offensive coordinator at Miami. Lashley had a background coming from Auburn's run-heavy, hurry-up attack. Riley comes in with coming from another run heavy Mountaineers, some time in a run heavy Mountaineers offense. Dykes, of course, is going to be able to figure out the passing game. But this kind of thing is gives you some confidence that, he is looking for and looking to expand what his offensive repertoire for his team really is. I really like the fact that he's going out and often hiring, a little against his own grain. Their offense last season. So these are last season's numbers because we're not able to project these numbers for a team for Beta Rank. So these are last year's numbers. SMU was a reasonably efficient and explosive offense. Number 34 in drive efficiency stands out. They're number 24 in negative drives, just not going 3 and out very often. Not a lot of turnovers. Pretty big run pass split. Number 19 in effective pass. Number 76 in effective rush. They had Shane Buechele last year at quarterback, number 28 in Pro Football Focus's grades. They had the number 80 offensive line in Pro Football Focus's grades. They get a defense in Texas State that projects at 114. That's a little bit, we're projecting them to take a little bit of a step back off of where they even were last year defensively. I do think that this. I'm about to sneeze. Trying not to sneeze. Failing not sneezing. So the Texas State. They struggled last season, particularly at drive efficiency and at negative drive. So they gave up a lot of long drives. They also struggled to get off the field and force some 3 and outs. They had, in some ways, for what this defense was good at, they were a lot better in pass coverage than they were in defending the run. With that run pass split, you see there an effective rush of 88, 116 effective pass of 88, 116 and effective rush. I think that, there's the potential that this defense could improve. Our projection on them is low, but it's still a tough road to hoe. I mean, Jake Spadeval's the head coach there. He's known for his offense. He was the offensive coordinator at Texas A&M after Kingsbury moved on. So I think this is still, even with the run pass split that Texas State, the Bobcats, bring into this game. I think this is really still a big advantage for SMU. If they can click and Buechele and the wide receivers and the timing is there, they should really be able to put up points, in bunches in this game. On the other side of the ball, this Ponies defense they're a decent group of 5 defense. They definitely have headroom here. If there's I think the offense, I think Dykes is a really good offensive mind. I think that there is room for them to continue to improve on offense. On this defensive ranking here at number 73, they do have, they do have some room to improve here as well. We have them projected at 81 on defense for SMU. That might be a tad low, but they have a huge run. I mean, the thing that jumps out at you here, I mean, they definitely struggle a little bit at play efficiency and negative drives versus their drive efficiency. So they did find a little way to get off the field if they could and prevent long drives. But 109 in effective pass, I mean, they were just bad in pass coverage last season. Far better against the run. That does in some ways play a little bit into the hands of this Texas State offense. They were at 126 last season. We project them at 127. And their numbers reflect where they finished out last year. Nothing really stands out all that positive about this and their drive efficiency, explosive drives. I mean, this is just an offense that didn't put up long drives, didn't put up big plays, struggled with, negative drives and getting off the field, getting forced off the field and not getting a first down. What they were pretty decent at was the 88 in effective pass versus 128 in effective rush. They definitely, I think, have some room to continue to improve here. And Spadeval has made an interesting move because they were at 82 in Pro Football Focus's QB grades last season, with mostly towards Tyler Vitt. And I think, a lot of folks, when they looked at Vitt's tape, thought that he might be, improving coming into this year and was a reason to have some optimism about this offense in particular. He's actually been beat out, and Brady McBride's been named the starting quarterback. So keep an eye on that. If McBride has really beat out Vitt in the quarterback competition, they may even have some more headroom there as well. So that covers this game. actually. Oh, and they were at 103 in Pro Football Focus's offensive line grades. Like, they do have a little bit of room for improvement, I think, when you look at, in particular, where they finished out some of last season. And I like, Spadoval's offense. If he can get that going, I think, Texas State has a chance here. But, that 23 points is a lot of points. I think it opened in Vegas at 20. So this, SMU is, the model, even though I feel like it's under projecting SMU, and it might be under projecting Texas State as well. Really still does like SMU in this game. Let's hop over to the second game, which is going to be on Monday night. This is going to be BYU at Navy. Navy, we really project coming into this game a lot off of their year last year, which is a huge bounce back year for them. Ken Niumatalolo did a terrific job getting this Navy offense in particular turned around, but the defense, which is a little under the radar, I think, with their improvement in performance, also really played out well for them last year. They, 21 here for Navy in our projections, 62 for overall for BYU. BYU's defense, oddly enough, was also 62. There's always some coincidence with the numbers. But what the engine of Navy last season and how they ended up, and really Niumatalolo's best season that he's had as a Navy head coach was the offense and Malcolm Perry. Malcolm Perry was, one of the best option quarterbacks we have seen over the last, you could almost argue 20 years of college football. They graded out at 7 last year in beta rank on offense. Number 6 on drive efficiency, that really stands out. Like they were able to put together long drives, a little less on explosive drives, number 14 there. And they could certainly improve there. They're number 1 in effective rush. This was the best rushing attack in college football last year. Not so great passing, 127 in passing. They were at number 20 on Pro Football Focus's grades for QBs last year with Malcolm Perry. Perry Olson's going to be the starter, I believe, that coming into this year. He was the backup last year as a freshman. You noticed the fall off when Olson was in the game. Perry got injured against Memphis. Some of this is Olson needs to be and maintain the near dynamic, be nearly as dynamic as Perry was running the football, making good decisions in the pitch game. But throwing the ball, there was a little bit of a fall off, and Navy needs to be able to throw the ball enough to cash in and what they're forcing defenses to do, as well as to, keep them on their toes, keep them playing a little more honest. So they, I expect there to be a bit of a fall off because Perry was such an engine of this offense. So our projection for Navy here at 21 feels like the high end of what they're likely going to hit at. And this, this offense in particular, we do expect to take a little bit of a step back. I still expect them to be a top 30 offense, however. So they should have an advantage coming into this game against BYU. BYU's defense, we project at 72, taking even a little bit of a step back from where they were at 62 last season. This is a decent group of 5 defense. I don't want to take away too much from this. I know a lot of BYU fans like to think of themselves in the Power 5, and if you want to think of it that way, then this is a very bad Power 5 defense. None of their numbers really stand out on their core 4 beta rank metrics as outstanding or horrible. They all sort of fall into the range you would expect from that overall defensive number. But they definitely need, if they want to improve, they're going to have to get better at least some of these metrics and maybe make considerable progress on one. So, that explosive drives number at 68, that drive efficiency or that negative drives number, forcing more 3 and outs, not giving up so many long drives, not giving up so many big plays. And not a big run pass split, number 65 in effective rush, 58 in effective pass. They're really, when you go play Navy, you're going to have to be really disciplined. So BYU is going to have to be, extremely disciplined. I don't know. I think an interesting question coming into this is have they had enough time to prepare for Navy's option attack? We'll see. Time. We will see Monday night. On the other side of the football, we'll do the offense first this time. BYU comes in number 60. We project them at 56, so improving a little bit off of last year. They struggle. I mean, so this is an improvement off of where they were, with the former Heisman winner calling plays. So, moving on, onto the new OC has paid some dividends for them. But their drive efficiency number here, they really, really struggled here last season. Just not putting together long drives. They didn't have consistency. They didn't have execution. They didn't have great play calling on a play-to-play basis. What they did manage to do though is they managed to set teams up a little bit. So, they did go for they were a home run offense comparatively a bit last season, number 42 in explosive drives. And really they were good at, they came off the bench with the plan. I mean, number 18 in negative drives. They were able to get first downs, right? I mean, the first down, not getting a 3 and out. They just struggled with a plan after that and execution. So it's something they're absolutely going to have to correct coming into next year. It's not going to work to really be, that have that kind of a profile. Like they need to, even this out a little. Be a little bit better at negative, be a little bit better at drive efficiency. If they could do that, this offense actually could take a fairly large step forward, say into the 40s. But decent run pass split. I mean, more effective throwing the ball than running the football. That actually does not play as much into Navy's hands because they were a lot better against the run last year than they were against the pass. Navy finished out last season at 40 on defense. We project them at 39. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to maintain, where Navy's defense finished out last season, I think, for the midshipmen. This is a good group of 5 defense. This is an excellent service academy defense finishing out at 40. And their numbers in particular, the number that stands out for them is their negative drives number, forcing a lot of 3 and outs and turnovers. Just a real solid performance by the middies there. Their run pass split here, number 8 in effective rush, number 92 in effective pass. That is a huge split. So, BYU, as much as they lean into throwing the football, should lean into it more. The question, of course, is the timing going to be there for any, passing based offense really with the limited preparation we have? They could struggle a little bit with that. I still expect BYU is going to be able to move the ball against this Navy, defense if they go to the air. Pro Football Focus liked Zach Wilson last season, number 46 in their grades. He was a little up and down, but there's definitely something to like there. They are missing their tight end Matt Bushman, who is now out, which is a bummer because he's a terrific player. And they're not returning a lot with the wide receivers. So the timing for this Navy passing or this BYU passing offense really could struggle a little bit. And they were at 12. They had a great offensive line last year, which just makes some of this grade here at number 60 overall. When you have the offensive line grade that they had, number 12 in Pro Football Focus's offensive line grades, it really makes you question scheme and play calling when you see some of these other numbers associated with the team that people are grading out the players on tape. It does make you question the scheme and the play calling and whether they're getting the most that they can out of that. So I think this, we've got this Navy at, this game is roughly even-ish in Vegas, I think, and I think it opened as Navy as a slight favorite and then came down. Beta rank because of the projection with Navy, because it does see the loss of production, but it doesn't know that how much of the engine Malcolm Perry really was. I think it has Navy as an 82% win probability and 11 point favorite there. I think that's high. I mean, I think that's fair to say. It's a projection model. It's not the in-season model. The in-season model doesn't usually vary this much, right? But this is a pretty big difference. I think this is going to be closer, but I would still have Navy as the favorite. I mean, I might put them close to that, that 3 points that was originally there in Vegas. I think people underestimate, and Niumatalolo had a very down year in 18. I don't think Navy is maybe going to be as good as they were last year, but they certainly won't be as bad as they were in 18. And I think that this Navy team has a chance to be sort of in the consistently good range that Niumatalolo has generally had there. So, let's call this a success. I'll try to figure out combing my hair for next week instead of just rolling out of bed and throwing a hat on and making coffee. Anyway, the yeah. So week one, tune into those games. If you want to watch teams take on FCS teams, that is your prerogative. Just try not to glean too much out of it beyond seeing players knock the rust off. But we're excited that football's back, and we're very excited for next week. And I know I did way more than 3 minutes per team, so we're gonna have some figuring out on my side on how we're gonna make this short and sweet and still get 6 games in. It will require being pretty exact on what I'm going to highlight, I think, as for the teams as we go through, as opposed to having sort of copious notes and walking through. But we only had 2 games this week, so kind of a nice way to cut your teeth, I suppose you could say. So let's go ahead and bust this out and call it over. So thank you so much for tuning in. You can find all the stats you saw and a lot more at sharpcollegefootball.com. I'm Rob Bowron. I'm the econometrician behind BetaRank. You can find me tweeting out from @BetaRankFB. I also handle the tweets from @SharpCollegeFootball. We have a Pac-12 podcast at 12 Pack Radio. And you can find all the back episodes of that at sharpcollegefootball.com/12Pack Radio. Have a great morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the football today. We will see you next week with yet another episode of the Saturday 6, and we'll also hopefully today finish out our preview series with number 1 Alabama. So enjoy the football out there. Have a great Labor Day weekend, y'all.